I want to touch on something now which is pretty close to my marketing mantra in terms of what not to do. And those of you who have been involved in my environment for a while would know that I am an absolute hater of price discounting. And the reason I am is because building a marketing model around price discounting means that you're not creating a model that's sustainable. Because whilst businesses that have been built for price discounting, like Walmart and Kmart and Big W and Bunnings Hardware and places like that, they've been built for price discounting. So that's fine. That's their entire business model. The $2 stores, Crazy Clark's, that's their business model. But for most of us, we haven't built our business model around dropping our price. We haven't. We build our business model around a particular GP, be it 30%, 40%, 80%, whatever it may be. And so therefore, every time you drop your pants and you go nuts with a sale, then of course you are creating a model in the marketplace that you might find comes and bites you in the backside. Because the fact is that if you have a reasonable brand of sorts and then you start doing price discounting, what do you think it does to your brand? And so the way I look at it is if you're a business owner, why would you want to attract customers regularly through price discounting? Because you're attracting the wrong customers anyway. I mean, the worst customer you can have in the world is one of the Groupon or Qdo or Scoopon customers, because guess what? They just keep on jumping, looking for new, better prices. My daughter, in her 20s, lives off the coupon companies, the Groupons of this world, and she went to about 36 hairdressers, I think, in the last 18 months, and she's never been back to the same one because she just keeps on chasing the price discount. Now, I was in a Westfield shopping centre recently, and I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe the amount of retailers who were actually price discounting. And what I want to do is show you right now a carousel of slides or photos that I took when I was there, because we're talking every second store was 30% off or 50% off or 70% off. It just was rampant. Now, the owners of these businesses, I believe, are suffering severe dickheaditis because they're creating a monster. And what you want to do is create a marketing plan, a marketing system, a marketing model that is not only repeatable, but sustainable. And I'm not saying for a moment that you wouldn't have a big sale twice a year. David Jones and Myer here in Australia, that's what they do. They're upmarket department stores, but to get rid of some dead stock, they have a 30th of June sale and they have a Boxing Day sale. So halfway through the year, and then in Boxing Day, they have their big sales and they get rid of all the dead stock. That's fine. I'm not against that. But to have it every week or every second week, you're creating a nightmare and you're creating a bad brand persona for your business, okay, whether you're online or offline. Now, I'm going to show you some photos of retailers inside a big Westfield shopping town here, but just take this for what it's worth in your particular business. And you might be just an online business, you may be half online, half bricks and mortar, but don't take this literally as being something only that happens in the retail world. It happens right across all businesses. And a lot of online businesses are thinking that they're building their business by doing price discounting. What they're doing is building short-term gains for long-term pain. Now have a look inside one of these stores. Okay, does that look like a garage sale that should be in the front yard of a dilapidated house in a bad suburb? Talk about what is that doing to your brand. Now, this particular, male fashion store was not exactly Palazzo Versace or BMW in terms of its brand, I grant you, but nonetheless, whatever its brand was, and I haven't had time to investigate it, frankly, but whatever its brand was, they've just taken that through the toilet. Just look at it. Just look at what you see on your screen at the moment. Is that a dog's breakfast? Oh, just awful, okay? There's another shot. Mind you, as I was getting my iPhone out, taking all these photos, I think the people who were running the stores at the time thought I was casing the joint to rob them at some later stage. I don't think I'd bother robbing them. I wasn't too keen on their clothing. Cotton On, this is a female store again, 70% off. This is every second store in the shopping centre, okay? Again, another male store, male fashion store, 70% off. Female store here, you can see 75% off. I mean, good. Why don't they go 99%, just give the damn stuff away? Okay, so therefore, let me just come back to that one. 75% off. That is a pretty massive, discount. And I think this was one of those sort of glitzy jewelry stores, the cheap ones to start with, but they've become even cheaper. Okay, whatever it's called, I'm not going to pronounce that properly, so I won't even try. Okay, 70% off. Another one, this happens to be, I think, the Billabong store, which is a, reasonably, sort of, I guess, high level brand in terms of the kids paying a fortune for Billabong. Oh no, City Beach, but nonetheless, it's similar to Billabong. Look what they've done to their brand. Taking it through the toilet. This one happens to be, I think, a shoe shop. Okay, yep, okay, a sports shoe shop. Sale after sale after sale. This is the EB Games. Now, I know you might argue that, look, they're discounting anyway, but they've taken discount to the a new level here. I think I've got another shot where I actually took a close-up of the inside of the store. Give me a second. I think I did. Look at that. How could you see any merchandise above all of those signs? In fact, there's a good chance you could let your, children, teenage children or little children go in there. You wouldn't find them for a month. I mean, goodness me, talk about a dog's breakfast. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Look at that. Just have a look at it. You're battling to find one special from the other. Just incredible. Weird. Now, this is Proud's jewellery store. Okay. Now, Proud's are a reasonably, sort of high end, I won't say high end, but a higher brand in the jewellery space. Look what they've done to the brand there. Oh my goodness. It's just terrible. And you'll see that you'll see there at the front door, they decided to put a banner hanging from the ceiling that says sale, sale, sale. And the idea is that you have to manoeuvre your way around that to get in. I'm not so sure that that's successful. I'm going to try and give you a photo. There you go. So there's the front door. Oh, look at their wonderful blackboard sign there. Wow, all, whatever it is, 20% off, 30% off. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional about this. This is just, I'm not even reading correctly, am I? I mean, this is crazy, crazy shit. This is weird stuff, okay? Proud's jewellery store, they've decided to put a sign at their door to, just make it hard to get in. I think I've got a long shot of that. Let me just have a look at there you go. Let's put we don't want anyone to, so what we'll do is we'll shove a blackboardy sort of sign on wheels at the very entrance to our store. And just in case they get around that obstacle, what we'll do is put a dirty great sale sign in the middle and make it even more difficult for them to get in. So the dickhead who's come up with this has thought, isn't that clever? No, you're just a dickhead, okay? So go and get a job somewhere else. Don't work in the retail sector because you are a moron. Aside from taking their brand through the toilet, they've decided to make it hard to get into their shop. This is Bras and Things, I think it is. I think that's what B&T, everyone's got to go acronym Y. I don't know what AAMI stands for. I'm lucky if I know what KFC stands for. Do not call your business an acronym if you can help it. And I think this is Bras and Things, so I don't know why that's just not an and symbol in the bed. B&T, who knows? The sign on the left I quite like for obvious reasons. I would probably have more of those. Sign on the right I don't like, 70% off, evil. Wrong. Okay. Williams, the shoe shop. Keep in mind, this is within a 20-minute walk down the mall of Westfield Shopping Town. Every second store had a 20, 30 or 40% discount sale. And just crazy, crazy stuff. Again, another menswear store. Ed Harry, Rockwear, which is like a women's gymnasium come summer clothing thing, 60% off. You'll see there that they've just gone nuts with, discounts, another store and another store and another store. It just goes on and on. I couldn't help myself. I had to take all these photos whilst I was in there. Now I'm going to play a video, but just before that, let's come back to me just for a second. I want to highlight what we've been going through in terms of an overall summary. Just think about your business, okay, for the moment. Think about what your target audience looks like. And think about whether or not they fall into the discount chaser market. And I'm guessing they won't. Mine doesn't. My audience, I'm B2B, so I'm business to business. The last client I want in the world is one who chases discounts and chases pricing. I want a client that looks for value. And the reason I don't want one who chases discounts is because if they do come into my coaching environment, there's a damn good chance that if they are of that mindset where they're looking for the cheapest thing all the time, when I advise them to do a Facebook campaign, they're going to go, oh, no, that's going to cost money. Okay, righto. Well, how about a letterbox brochure? Oh, no, that's going to cost money. Which means that all my coaching advice is going to go in that ear and out that one, and they'll do bugger all. They just won't do anything. And the last person I want in my environment is someone who gets all of this information from me and doesn't implement. It's a bit like the doctor doesn't enjoy having a patient who doesn't get their prescription at the pharmacy and then takes the tablets. That's the last person, because guess what? That particular person is going to come back and whinge and moan to the doctor that he or she is still sick. And he'll say, well, you never took the tablets, you never followed the prescription. So, of course, in my instance, the worst customer I can have, or for that matter, any advisor, whether it's an accountant, whether it's a doctor, whether it happens to be a lawyer or a business coach, the last person you want on board is someone who actually bitches and moans about getting the cheapest price and doesn't follow through. And generally, the people who don't follow through, the people who don't execute, are the people who are trying to get a deal. So in your instance, have a think about your customer. Have a think about whether or not your customer falls into the category of chasing price discounts. And if they do, then okay, you may have to go down the model that satisfies that, but I can assure you that 95% of all businesses don't have that model. They want a decent gross profit margin so that they can actually pay the bills and put food on the table. And as I've gone through the photographs that I've already shown you, you'd be aware that some of those brands I was showing you were pretty big national brands here in Australia. And yet they're taking their brand through the toilet by having these ridiculous 50, 60, 70% off sales. And they don't do it once, they do it regularly. Now, if they did it once or twice a year, I can forgive them for getting rid of dead stock. But to do it regularly is just a race to the bottom. That's crazy. So therefore, think about the ambience, think about the geodemographic profiling of your audience. If they don't fall into that cheap and nasty category, then don't treat them cheap and nasty. And I'm going to show you a video in a moment whereby I actually got my iPhone out and just walked throughout the shopping mall to show you discount after discount after discount. Let me just play that and then I'll come back and give you my views on that, okay? Let me just play the video for you right now. Okay, so as we walk through the mall, I've got my camera out and you'll see a guy here actually does a crotch grab in a second. Here he goes. There he goes. Off he goes. He was obviously pretty bored. Let me just actually play that again. I want to show that to you. This guy was doing a Michael Jackson impersonation free of charge. The shopping centre obviously wasn't paying him for this. Let me just play it again. You'll see that I'm walking through the mall. This guy's coming towards me. He's got the white T-shirt and the gorgeous shorts on. And here he goes, Michael Jackson, crotch grab. Good. Okay, that's how bored he was about all the sales in this shop. I'm sorry, I'm being silly, but I can't help it. We've got to add some, levity to these things because this is tragic when you see, discount after discount after discount. So I'm actually going through them all, embarrassing as it might have been, with my iPhone, and I'm just showing you all the stores. Look, I go from left to right, discount, JJ's is a discount. They've just decided to destroy their entire brand persona. My goodness, goods in there from $5. I can imagine what they would look like. We come up to the Taro Cash and the Connor that I showed you before. So let's have the canary yellow signage that just makes that place look like a garage sale, and directly opposite them, let's not be different, we'll just do the same thing, only will be a gross orange color. And then as we walk through the mall again a little bit further, don't worry, I'm not going to take you too much longer in this. I'm just doing this to show you that I'm telling the truth, that it was store after store after store that had these ridiculous discount sales, and it was just destroying each and every one of their brands. Just Jeans, I mean, that's a big national brand. They've decided to do the 50 or the 30% off. And as I went right through the mall, it went on and on and on. I won't bore you with any more of that, but the fact of the matter is that this is the stuff that you've got to avoid doing. You don't want to go down this path, okay? Now, let me highlight something to you. I don't know how closely you were looking at all of these photographs of these silly retailers, but there was something that was quite constant in retail store after retail store after retail store. No people in there. There was nobody in there. Okay, so therefore, I'm walking through the mall. It was, I guess, a reasonably busy day. I think it was a Saturday. And so therefore, there was plenty of people in the mall. But guess what? There was nobody in the stores. Now, I'll bring one up and just show you. Have a look at this one here. This happens to be the female one. Okay, there is no one in that store except the sales assistants. So they've gone to all the trouble to drop their pants and have a 75% discount sale, but there's nobody in there. Now, I know that you might say, well, JD, you might have conveniently just taken these photos at the time that there wasn't anyone in there, but surely for a 75% sale, they would have had, I can't tell you, I've got no empirical evidence to know whether that worked or not. But surprise, surprise, as I took photo after photo after photo of all of these stores, there were not many people in any of them. There's nobody in the stop. There's nobody. There's mannequins there, but I don't think they could buy anything. There's nobody in these shops. Now, you'll see here as I go past these two, these are the menswear stores. Have a look in as I go past. I can't see anybody in there. There's nobody in that stop. And in this one, yes, the one thing missing is customers. Nobody in that shop. Lots of orange signs. And this is what I'm getting at, is that, these things have become I think, so unbelievable, but they're not even acting as an attraction anymore. So why drop your pants like that when in fact there's a very good chance that people are not going to take much notice of it anyway? And I think too, it comes down to the ambience. I mean, if you have a look at most of those retail stores, just a really, really corny ambience that really looks like a garage sale. Just they've got no idea of how to actually treat a sale in a way that still protects and enhances their brand. What they should have been doing, I know that's what you're asking me. Well, JD, the owner of All Wisdom, and of course, one of my greatest assets is my humility, because I would never go on about the fact that I know everything. What they should have been doing is, guess what? Starts with V and starts with A. Value adding. That's what they should be doing. And so therefore, if they want to get rid of some stock, what they should be doing is value adding. And that would be, for every X dollars that you spend in my shop, we'll give you 10 cents a litre fuel discount, or something like that. Or for every X dollars that you spend in our shop, we will give you a movie point. And when you save up 5 movie points, which may take you over the next 2 or 3 or 4 weeks to come back and forth into the shopping centre, but when you save up 5 movie points, we'll give you movie tickets. And how that would work, those of you who've been around my environment will know that you would say, look, for every $50 you spend with me, we'll give you a movie point. And when you save 6 movie points, which means you've spent 6 times $50, that's $300, we will give you 2 $15 tickets to the movies. Okay, now don't kill me if the movie tickets are $16 or $17, but you know what I mean, okay? So we'll give you 2 $15 tickets to the movies, which of course will cost the store $30. $30 as a percentage of the 300 is 10%. Now 10% discount disguised as a value add like that will still give them the opportunity to make money, whereas a 70 or 80% discount doesn't, okay? And really, when it's all said and done, you might say, well, okay, what would you make the value add? Would it be fuel discount? I mean, the fuel discount one is very simple, and those, again, who have been around me, I'm sorry for you hearing this for the umpteenth time, but the fuel discounts are very simple. Again, if I say to anybody who owns a business, would you be willing to give up 10% of your sale price in order to double your sales? Well, of course, everyone would put their hand up and say yes. Well, let's just say, for example, it was any one of these stores, and you said for every $50 you spend with me, we'll give you 10 cents a litre off your fuel, up to 50 litres, which is pretty much what, the maximum anyone would put in their car at any one time. And so therefore, most people put their hand up and they go, okay, well, for every $50, you would give the customer 10 cents per litre fuel discount, up to 50 litres. They go out and get their fuel from any gas station, they bring in their receipt, and 50 litres worth of 10 cents means $5, okay? So $5 as a percentage of the 50 that they've spent is 10%. So it means if they spend $100, they get 20 cents a litre. 20 cents a litre by 50 litres means that they're going to get $10 fuel rebate from you. $10 as a percentage of the 100 that they've spent is 10%. So there's lots and lots of different value add ways whereby you can just give up 10% of your sale price. In other words, a quasi 10% discount, but because you turned it into a value add, then of course it has so much more theatre and so much more appeal. Why do you think Kellogg's put a toy in the bottom of the cereal boxes instead of discounting cornflakes? They do it because whilst it's the same result as a discount, in other words, they're losing margin, they're only losing that much margin, and people are much more turned on by the value add than they are if Kellogg's took $1 off their box of cornflakes. So just think about when you're putting your marketing plan together, whether it's online or offline, be careful before you go down the price discount path. Think about how you can supplement a price discount, how you can replace a price discount by having a value add wow factor bonus. And next time you go through one of these shopping centres, just do yourself a favour. Have a look if they're doing exactly what I've just shown you they're doing today. Have a look at those silly, silly retailers and just promise yourself that you'll never do the same. Gosh, I nearly forgot to tell you about my webinar. If you enjoyed this, then you might like to watch my webinar, which concentrates on showing you how to attract avalanche leads to your business. Now, that's either to your website or to your landing page or to your bricks and mortar business. I've been in the game of attracting leads for company owners for many, many years. And so I've put together a formula, and that formula I've called the Avalanche Leads Formula. And what I've done in this webinar, which goes for just over an hour, is that I provide you with that formula, that system, okay? So therefore you'll be able to just swipe it and use it in your business. So if you enjoyed what you saw here, then you might like to straight away go to Wow My wowmysales.com, and you can watch the webinar straight away. It's not one of those where you give your details and then we annoy you with 1,000 emails over the next 24 hours. You can watch it straight away. So therefore, when you go to wowmysales.com, you can just watch that webinar immediately on demand, no waiting, and you can scoop up more of this stuff that you can use in your business. Now, why am I doing this? Because I figured that if I actually provide these free pieces of advice to you, then when you need help in the future to attract clients to your business, you might like to knock on our door and we can give you a hand. It's called sampling. That's what this is all about. So hopefully you will enjoy it. And at some time when you do need some help, well, you know where we are. So if you'd like to go right now, you can watch it straight away to wowmysales.com. It'll have a particular emphasis on online marketing and a particular emphasis showing you how to master Facebook ads. I show you a formula which I've called the two-step sell formula, and it has worked over and over and over again for many of my clients. So if you're interested in making your Facebook ads work, then you might like to get there straight away and have a look at this. It's at wowmysales.com. It's a free webinar and you can watch it straight away.